Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to have all of you here. Welcome to 2015. You can take child's pose. We'll start there. With your toes together, your knees go wide. Stretch your arms out in front of you and just rest your head on your mat. So it's 2015. It happened. We're here now. And 40 Days to a Personal Revolution starts next week on January the 8th. There'll be 2 sessions in Lancaster, one that I'll be leading on Thursdays at 1:15, and then if you can't come during the day, you could come to the session in the evening with Lisa and Megan, and that's at 7. There's also a 40 Days happening in York, so check it out and start 2015 in exploration of the you that actually already is where you need to be. Make your New Year's resolution to not try and fix anything. Instead, explore what already works. And what works is you, from the inside out. Wiggle your toes. Press each one of your toes down firm onto your mat. Lift up your fingers. Press your fingers down flat. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out on purpose, exhale. The whole practice is a breathing practice. In through your nose, out through your nose. Downward facing dog. Slide your hands up, tuck your toes under. Bend your right leg, bend your left leg. Press your thumb and your pointer finger down. Rise to your tippy toes. Stretch out your feet. Exhale, press your heels behind you. Rise to your tippy toes. Press your heels behind you. Rise. Release your heels back. Lift your right leg up, bend your heel to your bottom. Gaze at your left toes. Drop your head down and look back at your toes. Lift up high onto your left toes so your heel is way up off of your mat. Drop your left heel back. Stretch your right leg behind you. Place your foot down. Switch sides. Lift your left leg up. Bend your heel to your bottom. Bring life into the bottom of your left foot and lift onto your tippy right toes. Look back and make sure that all 5 of your right toes connect to your mat and includes your pinky toe. Release your right heel down. Stretch your left leg back. Place your foot on the floor. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Your spine is flat. Exhale, fold. Grab your opposite elbow and sway all the way to one side and all the way to the other. Pick up your toes, stretch them out down onto your mat. Notice your breath and just really invite it into your practice. Release your arms down to the floor, bring your toes to touch. Rise up and reach your arms to the ceiling. Press your palms together over your head. Exhale your hands to your heart. Begin your practice with 1 Om. Inhale. Reach your arms up, breathe in. Exhale, fold to the floor, breathe out. Lift halfway, chaturanga, high plank to low plank, like a push-up. Then upward facing dog, downward facing dog. You can always access chaturanga on your knees as a variation. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway, fold. Stand, reach all the way up, hook your thumbs, lean back, fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway. Take chaturanga. So it's 4 parts, high to low, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, pause. Press your hands and your feet flat. Walk or jump up to the front of your mat. Both are variations. Halfway lift, fold. Rise up, reach, sun salutation A. Exhale, fold to the floor. Keep your eyes open. Lift halfway. Chaturanga. Point your elbows back behind you in chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Stretch from your fingers to your toes. Jump or walk up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Reach up. Fold down. Lift halfway. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Watch that breath go in. Now take just as long to exhale. Then move up to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold. Stand up. Reach out of your feet all the way up. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Chaturanga. Maybe you throw in a double chaturanga, high to low. High to low. Up dog. Down dog. In chaturanga, press your hands flat. All 10 fingers down. Jump up to the front of your mat. Last sun A. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise up, reach. Hook your thumbs, lean back, stay here. The more that you press your feet down, the more access you have into a back bend. Your heart just goes through your chest and it moves toward the brick wall. Take your eyes back and allow your gaze to drop. Trust your feet to hold you here. Forward fold all the way down. Lift halfway. Chaturanga. Use your toes or your knees, but engage your shoulders. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your heel to your bottom, flip your dog. Stand on both of your feet flat and then reach up and back. So where your intention goes, your energy flows. Intend to guide your hand down to the floor and just find a wheel pose. Press your feet a lot into the earth and lift your bottom up. Carefully flip back over to a 3-legged dog. Lift your right leg in the air. Take your right knee to your nose and round out to a plank. Press your right leg back. Take your right knee to your nose and round out. Pull your leg in. Press your right leg back. Take your right knee to your nose, pause. Stack your shoulders right over your wrist. Press your hands flat. Stretch your right leg behind you. Place it down, breathe in. Sigh what you don't need out. What you don't need is your story. Lift your left leg. Bend your heel to your bottom, flip your dog, stand on your feet. So the answer is you can actually drop the story that you can't. Take your eyes back and then walk your fingers down the brick wall so that eventually your hand just lands flat. And wherever you end today is actually where you start tomorrow. So just guide your fingers a little bit further down toward the floor. Carefully flip back over to a 3-legged dog. That means your left leg remains in the air. Take your knee to your nose and round your spine like a cat stretch. Take your leg back. Take your knee to your nose, round your spine, your shoulders over your wrist. Press your leg back. Take your knee to your nose, stay here. Make sure all 5 of your right toes talk to the mat. Lift your left leg into your body. Into your body, it's different than back. Now stretch your leg behind you. Place it down. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Squat, chair pose.
Fold to the floor. Whew. Half lift. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Whew, downward facing dog. Breathe in, sigh out. Right foot steps through, warrior 1, reach up. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Reach. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Push your heels back. Breathe in. Sigh out. Breathe in. Sigh out. One more breath in. Fill your lungs. On empty, step or jump to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold. Squat, chair pose, reach up. Fold. Half lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, press your heart forward. Push your hips up and back, down dog. Right foot, warrior one. Reach. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot steps through, warrior one. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Fill your lungs with breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last breath, filling your lungs. On empty, look to your hands, step or jump to the front of your mat, half lift. Make your back flat and long. Fold. Chair pose, reach through your fingertips. Fold. Half lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Right foot, warrior one, reach. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left foot, warrior one. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog.
Take your right leg into the air. Turn your right toes to face the floor. Press your foot back behind you. Create a lot of space in between your fingers and your toes. Right side, warrior one. Bend down so much in your right leg that you could place a cup of hot water onto your thigh and it wouldn't spill. Press back into the edge of your left foot. There's space in the arch of your left foot, but no air is going in between your mat and the back of your left foot. Charlotte, more into the back edge of your left foot. Engage all the muscles on your left leg. Hug them into the bone. Pick up your right toes and let your foot do the work. Open to warrior two. Flip your right palm up, reverse. Wrap your right arm behind your back. Your left arm behind your back. Do as you do, don't do as I say, right? Bend down into your right leg. Keep your knee going out towards your pinky toe. Reach back so far you straighten your right leg. Warrior two, your right knee bends, your arms reach forward and back. Gaze at your right fingers, consume yourself with thoughts about your body. That's what keeps you here now. That's what your practice is. And since you already identified that you're just working on what you already have, you're enough. So breathe into your feet and breathe out. Press them down. Take another breath to look at your right fingers and be embodied. Cartwheel your hands down, chaturanga or straight to down dog. They're both variations. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Lift your left leg up. Turn your left toes down to face the floor. You are recruiting your left leg and your right leg. Step your left foot to warrior one. Reach your arms up. Lift up your left toes. Save that energy and use it towards your back leg. So if you're just in conversation with your left leg, have your right leg be involved. How? You just focus your mind on it. You get mindful of your back leg. You bend down a lot into your left leg, which will automatically create more space and more activity in your right leg. Hug the muscles to the bone on your right leg and send your right hip toward the brick wall. Open to warrior two. Look at your left hand. Reverse warrior. Wrap your right arm this time behind your back. Your right arm behind your back reminds you to stay bent into your left leg. You can bend it. There you go. As you bend down in your left leg, you use your right leg to support this pose. James, down in your left leg. Reach back so far you straighten your left leg. Warrior two. Breathe in and out. So you're already enough. You let your breath come in and out. You let your breath relax your shoulders down towards your hips. Stretch out your toes and let them be easy and light. Keep your arms up. And then bring your hands down, chaturanga. So when you want to go, that's actually when you stay, because that's when the learning begins. That's when the pose begins. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Squat, chair pose, sit down, reach up. Lift your toes up, and then breathe. So if you're thinking, probably you're not doing much breathing. Instead, think about the sensation in your legs. Think about your bottom getting broad and wide, and then let your toes be easy and light. As you press into the four corners of your feet, you'll find true north alignment with your whole being facing forward. Lift up, press down, exhale, fold to the floor. Lift halfway, chaturanga. Take it as you need on your toes or your knees. Excellent. Up dog, down dog. Step your right foot to warrior one. Open to warrior two. Extended side angle. Your right arm down, your left arm up to the ceiling or over to the brick wall. Let your right arm be a suggestion against your bent right leg. Guide your right knee out towards your pinky toe. And then bring your left shoulder back to the yellow wall. Open up your chest and then embody that you are enough. Embody that you have what you already need as you open your heart and you're available. Stretch your right arm to the brick wall. Stretch your left arm to the brick wall and breathe as you reach for what's possible and you press down to what's happening here now. Bring your hands down to either side of your right foot. Pause, high plank. Pause in high plank. Access your shoulder blades. You might use your knees to guide your shoulder blades together on your back. If you're on your toes, be sure that you're using all 10 of them. Sometimes the 2 on the end get left out. Your elbows are in close to your body, and you'll lower halfway down to low plank. Gaze out in front of you. Upward facing dog. Lift your belly, your thighs, just your hands that are flat, and your feet touch the mat. Mind to the muscles on your lowest belly. Use them to roll back to downward facing dog. Take a huge breath in. Breathe out. Step your left foot to warrior one. Open. On your exhale to warrior two. Extended side angle. You can reach your right arm toward the brick wall. Did you go the other way last time, Jonathan? Okay. Sometimes we have double rights. Guide your right shoulder back toward the bathroom wall. That's this side of the building. And then your fingers are alive. You've got activity from your fingers to your toes. That's the way you stay present here now. Reach your right arm to the brick wall if it's not already there, and then stretch your left arm to the brick wall. Bring your right shoulder back and bring your right hip back. Open up the whole front side of your body. Breathe. Cartwheel your hands down, high plank position, pause. This is part one of a 4-part chaturanga. With your hands flat and your feet stretched all the way out. Lower halfway down to low plank. Look out a little bit more in front of you, Maggie. Now rise to upward facing dog. Lift your heart through your arms. Downward facing dog, exhale. There's a breath that happens here. And then the exhale is part of that breath. Let it go. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Squat, chair pose, reach. Breathe. Relax your jaw and sit down in your legs. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Take chaturanga. You can step to down dog. Both are variations that can work for you. Up dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot to crescent lunge. Reach your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart. Twist to the yellow wall. Your left elbow outside of your right knee. When your hands stay together, it gives you a stretch in your chest. And then if you open them up, you might find a different type of stretch in a different part of your spine. What's sort of key in this pose is that your left heel is up and that all of your toes face forward. Yes. If you drop your left knee down, you'll find that it might be more available for you to lift your chest up off of your thigh. Wherever you are, it's your left toes that have a job. Your right toes actually get to be on vacation. If your arms are open, stretch them from upstairs to downstairs and spread your fingers out wide. Crescent lunge, reach your arms to the ceiling. Chaturanga, down dog. It's a choice that you get to make. You actually always get to decide. Up dog, downward facing dog. Step your left foot, crescent lunge, reach your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart, twist. Your right elbow outside of your left knee. You're going toward the bathroom wall this direction. So your left side isn't just the same as your right side, it's actually totally different. So lift your heel up and have all, there you go, yeah. So you'll need to explore what works for you on this side in this moment. And as you twist, use your breath to guide the twist all the way up your spine, releasing anything that's stuck that keeps you away from getting connected to you, what already works inside out. That's your resolution, is to have a commitment with yourself. Keep your twist going, keep breathing. That keeps the whole thing alive, gives it vitality. Crescent lunge, reach your arms up, press your feet down. Chaturanga, down dog. It's not about what your neighbor needs, it's about what you need. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, pause. Move up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. If you have a block, grab it and squat, chair pose. The block could be in between your hands and a way that works for you. If you don't have a block, imagine, or water bottle, that you had something in between your hands. Press your hands into the center. Sit down in your legs so that you can have a lot of conversation with your thighs. If you're holding onto a block, your arms still reach straight up to the ceiling. Twist your left elbow outside of your right knee. The block goes in your right hand. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling and your left arm down. Squat so low in your chair pose that both of your knees bend to the same direction. You might find that your left knee has a little bit of a lead on your right knee. You'll just need to bend down evenly into both knees. Let your spine be straight and long as you wring out every section, every organ. Release. Back up to chair pose. Fold. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Lift halfway. You can create a flat back here. And then fold down to the floor. Exhale. Ask yourself your level of comfort in this pose of surrender. And resolve to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's actually the only way things change. Squat, chair pose. Place the block in between your thighs this time. So with anything in between your thighs or a water bottle, you could still have your toes together and your heels apart. Squeeze into the center, and then this way, you're even more attached to your legs. So you can really access your inner thighs, and then take all of your focus and awareness there. When you're focused on what's happening inside, the upstairs doesn't have that much chance to speak. So resolve to come into connection there as you press your feet down and lift your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart. Twist your right elbow outside of your left knee. Your block or the water bottle can stay right where it is. So you want to maintain a bend the whole time in chair pose in your knees. Yes. And then imagine that you feel like you're falling backward. That's how committed you are to the ball and the heel of your foot. Access vitality into this pose and breathe a lot of life into it. If you're shaking, it's your body waking up to you, to what's possible. Arrive back in chair pose. Keep the block right where it is. Fold to the floor. Grab onto your, actually slide your hands under your feet. Tickle your fingers to your feet. Tickle your toes to your wrists. Make a big circle with your right shoulder back towards your right hip. And then make a big circle with your left shoulder back towards your left hip. Drop your head off. And then you can choose when you leave to pick it up, or you could just leave it. And you could allow your body to guide you. Take your feet wide, release a block, and come into bear squat. It's kind of like a high goddess squat. So your feet are wide, your arms are out in front of you, and you could interlace your fingers. Point your pointer finger out. Lift up out of your hips and press your feet down. And squeeze your arms and your ears together. If you find that you're really flexible, you'll want to lift up a smidgen out of your hips. That's it. So that your whole legs have an opportunity to be in this pose. Be strong like a bear and squat down so your bottom is broad and your feet are flat. Place your hands on the floor, crow pose. Lean into your hands. Your knees actually go on the outside of your arms versus up in your armpits. Resist the temptation to flop and drop your head down into a tripod. Instead, straighten your arms and move into power and crane pose. Your toes come together. Charlotte, take your eyes out a little bit in front of you. Goddess squat or bear squat could be another variation where you might want to stay. You're in crow pose, your eyes are out just at about 12 o'clock. If you've moved back through a chaturanga, come back into crow pose. That's what's happening now. Breathe in and out, press your hands flat. And then jump back, move through a vinyasa that makes sense to you. That might be a down dog. We'll all meet in down dog. Drop to your knees, hero pose. Take your knees together, your feet are out wide. It might feel comfortable to sit on a block in hero pose. Take your hands, press the edges of your feet out to the sides of the room. And then find a deep stretch in your quads. If you're still having difficulty identifying a stretch in your quadriceps, those big muscles on the front of your legs, you could begin to recline, but just take it step by step so that your knees remain on the floor. They might separate, which is fine, but you'll want to keep them down. And I know in my body, if I go all the way down, I don't feel anything, but if I just go halfway, there's some information there. You'll have to decide what works for you. I think from the peanut gallery, someone found information in their quads. And it depends on what you do, how you sit, how you drive. That's why it's totally different for everybody. Slowly come out. Step into tabletop position. Round your spine like an angry Halloween cat and puff up your chest to the ceiling. Flatten your back out, dog tilt stretch. Lift your heart through your arms. Round your spine, exhale, cat tail stretch. Lift your chest, dog tilt stretch. Come to a flat spine. Reach your right arm to the brick wall, stretch your left leg behind you. Pull your belly in. When you turn your left toes down, it allows you to create more space in this pose. You want to identify your core right in this moment. Bring your right elbow to your left knee under your body, round. Your right elbow to your left knee, round. Stretch apart. Identify your core. You'll want to use it here. Your right elbow to your left knee, round your spine. Stretch apart. Take your right elbow to your left knee, pause. Pull your leg in. Press them together like you're going to glue them. Stretch apart. Bend your left knee. Hold on to your left foot with your right hand. Lift up out of your hips. You'll use your core and the strength of a solid left hand to do that. Carefully release your arm forward, your leg back, and place your hand and knee down. Switch sides. Left arm, right leg. So instead of exiting around from the right side to the left side, you could actually just go there and stay in the flow. Keep breathing. That's what keeps this whole thing fluid. Take your elbow to your knee and round your spine in a cat stretch. Stretch your arm and leg apart. Take your elbow to your knee, round your spine, pull everything in and up. Stretch apart. Take your elbow to your knee, stay here. So if ever you start to think, find some way to prick yourself and become really attached to what's happening. Stretch your arm and leg apart, bend your right knee, hold on to your right foot with your left hand. It's kind of like when you get stung by a bee, if that's ever happened to you, there's absolutely nothing else you can think about. So prick yourself, sting yourself, and stay alive, stay present. Because the only thing you have is this moment. That's actually the only thing that's true. Stretch your arm and leg apart. Place your hand and knee down. Take downward facing dog. Bend your right leg. Bend your left leg. Take your right hand to your left leg. You can hold your foot, your ankle, your heel. Look under your left armpit. A twist. Place your right hand down, switch sides. Take your left hand on your right leg and look under your right arm to the yellow wall. You might see information about going to Mexico and decide you want to sign up after class. Jackson said I could, so he said you'd all babysit. Place your hand flat. Jump up to the front of your mat. Lift halfway, then fold all the way down. Rise up, reach your arms. Take left side eagle. It's different than right side. Left arm under, left leg over, right? Alex is looking at his arms like, I actually have to think about this. That's the point. Your leg, your left leg that wraps on top, it doesn't matter how high it goes. It will vary. It might have your toes down on the floor. It might wrap your ankles around each other. But you want there to be absolutely no space, no daylight in between your thighs. Hug those muscles together even more, Lauren. Hug them together so it's like a snake coiling around a tree. Squat down, Michelle. Be embodied. Reach up out of the pose and take right side eagle. Your right arm under, your right leg over. And then squat down. Do you want to know a trick? The deeper that you sit, the easier this is. Not necessarily physically easier, but it's easier to access what this asana can offer your body. Reach up and out. Place your feet flat. Keep your arms to the ceiling. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend your right knee. Hold on to your right knee. You might hold on to your right foot. Keep your spine tall. Take your right leg to the yellow wall, and your left arm reaches over to the bathroom wall. Guide your eyes past your left fingers. You are straight in the center, and then your limbs are just extending out, left and right. Come back with your right knee facing the brick wall, dancing Shiva. Left hand, right knee, twist. Take your arm back and then your gaze. So be completely present and still before you look somewhere else. Come back to the center, reach your arms up, airplane pose. Take your right leg back. Press your palms down as if there are counters right below your palms. There you go, James M. Good. Spread your fingers out so that you're certain that they're involved in what's happening. Reach your right leg up. Turn your right toes down to face the floor. Bring your hands to your heart. half moon. Your left arm to a block, your right arm up. You might bind this pose and bend your right leg, hold on to your foot. You might find the variation works for you to lift your left arm off of the floor, press your hand to your heart. You're creating what needs to happen in this pose, and if you breathe and listen, your body will tell you. Forward fold hang. Out, hang out, release, finish. Slowly roll all the way up. Your feet stay flat and as you roll. Reach your arms up, hands to your hips, bend your right knee. Bend your left knee. Hold on to your left knee or your foot. Move your leg out to the side and reach your right arm to the yellow wall. Find something to feel, to attach to. Cause presence. Breathe. Come back to the center, dancing Shiva. Your right hand on your left knee, and then reach your right arm back. There's no rush to take your eyes back. It just happens organically when you're totally committed to a balance in your right leg. Come back to the center, reach your arms up, airplane, left leg behind you. This time, interlace your fingers, press your palms together, crisscross your thumb. Your left toes are down to the floor. Jonathan, turn your left toes down a little bit more. Yes, that changes the whole position of your hips. Lift your chest up like you're going to go out of the room, fly to the retreat in Mexico in March. Lift your heart up a little higher like up dog. Hands to your heart, right side half moon. Your right arm to a block, your left arm up. Do what works for your leg and your arm in this pose. And if you find that your left leg is locked and you're not having any information coming from the floor, you'll want to just bend your leg a little bit and allow energy to come up through the floor into your body so that you can sustain the pose, be here now. Forward fold, hang out. Roll all the way up, reach your arms to the ceiling. Take right side dancer standing bow. If you're taking a standing bow, you'll grab the inside of your right foot with the soft part of your arm facing the yellow wall. Touch your thumb to the bottom of your foot, lift your left arm up. And then this is the pose. As you breathe, you grow the pose so that your left arm reaches forward and your right leg reaches back. It's more important to have a bend in your right leg than a high lift with your left. Flip your hand around and just hold the inside of your right foot. Breathe and grow the pose. Stretch forward and reach back. Release out, switch sides. Left side dancer with a strap or standing bow without. If you ever wanted to borrow a strap, we have a whole box in the front of the room. Now, if you're holding onto a strap, challenge yourself to hold down low on the strap. And then remind yourself you'll need to be involved with your right leg. So that's just going to mean a little bit of a bend in your right leg to bring all of the energy up from the floor into your leg as you stretch from your fingers to your toes. You're actually making space on the front side of your body. Release, stand, right side tree pose, right foot, left leg. You can take this pose supine if that works for you, which would simply mean on your back. Your hands begin at your heart. When you get a felt sense that it's time to do something else with your hands, honor it. Switch sides, left side tree pose. Release. With your toes at the very front of your mat, reach your arms all the way up. Fold as you exhale. Lift halfway, step to high plank position, pause. Drop to your right forearm. Drop to your left forearm. Keep your hands flat. Walk your toes in towards your elbows, dolphin pose. Dolphin's like down dog, but your head stays off of the floor. So walk your toes to your elbow, your hands are flat. You might here get a felt sense that one of your legs just wants to rise into the air. You'll lift it up, and you'll gaze out in front of you. Right, now you're going to get another felt sense that your left leg wants to turn, so you'll lift that up in the air, and you'll move into a forearm stand. You'll press your forearms and your hands down, and sometimes when I do this, I get a felt sense of freaking out when both legs are in the air, so you might find it's easier to work with one side and the other. And you can always move toward a wall. That makes my freaking out lessen a little bit. It's just a practice, so you don't actually ever have to perfect this. You just keep working toward it. Release back to forearm plank and pause. With your bottom down, you're flat like a board. Take your feet out wide. And then walk your feet back in. Take your feet out wide. And then walk your feet back in. You'll use your inner thighs here. Take your feet out wide. Walk your feet back in. Lower to your belly. Locust pose. Reach your arms behind you. Press your palms flat. Turn your toes in. Lift your legs, your chest up. In locust pose, use your inner thighs. Let your butt cheeks just be easy. Swim your arms out. Reach them toward the brick wall. Knock over a water bottle at least on your way. Pull your belly in like you've got a tack underneath your belly button. Swim your arms back behind you. Reach. Lower down. Bend your knees. Take them side to side. Release your spine. Floor bow. Hold on to your feet, and you can leave your thighs down or lift them up. You might roll front and back on your belly and create a rocking horse. Lift your chest up. You want your thighs to be close together, just like in chair pose where you had a block there. You might imagine there's a block or someone's legs that you're just hugging onto in the center. You can roll front to back and just massage the front side of your body. Release out. Take your knees side to side. Place your hands flat by your ribs. Rise to upward facing dog. You could use your knees, your toes. Bend your elbows and press your heart through your arms. Roll back to downward facing dog. Jump through, sit on your bottom. Dig your heels into the earth and stretch your arms up to the ceiling. Your legs are out straight. You can hold on to Megan's feet, Jackson. Reach your arms toward the brick wall. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. So instead of this, I can't, I'm tired, and not that, open up your chest into a yes that, yes. And you'll keep your shoulders back like this as you lower halfway down towards your mat. Heels down, toes up, yes. You can hold on to someone's feet. And then slowly come back up like we're holding hands. And again, engage your shoulder blades first, then lower a little bit further down. Heels down, toes up, right? Keep your feet flat, keep your feet flat. Come all the way back up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Let the struggle go. And then lower yourself progressively down, piece by piece on your spine. And when you get there, bridge pose. Bend your knees, your feet are flat. Tickle your heels with your fingers. Rise all the way up and waddle like a duck would, your shoulders side to side and get them underneath your body. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms together. You can stretch your right arm to your right knee. And then place your right hand down. Stretch your left arm to your left knee. Stretch it on purpose. The other left knee, James. Release down. Take your knees side to side. Release out of the pose. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Place your hands flat. Your fingertips face your shoulders. Rise up. Wheel pose. Inhale, inflate. Exhale, release out. Take your knees side to side. So the time is now, right? Bridge or wheel pose. Go up, 5 breaths. Inhale. Lift your right leg up. Place your right leg down. Lift your left leg up. Place your left leg down. Lift your right hand up. Stretch it to your knee. Place your hand down. Lift your left leg. Stretch it to your knee. Release down. Take your knees side to side. Release out. Windshield wiper. Take a deep breath in. Sigh. Rise up. Bridge your wheel pose. Go. 5 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. You're in the pose. Now do something to shift the pose. Maybe you lift your toes, your arms, your leg. And then marinates in this pose. Open your chest, press your feet down. Be all about what's happening here now. Sensation, life. Release out. Take your knees side to side. Supta Baddha Konasana. Press your feet together. Allow your knees to go wide. Pause. Don't do anything other than listen. Feel. Inside out. Hug your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. Pull your knees in, leave your shoulders down, and at the same time, guide your bottom down to the floor so you get a hip stretch. Happy baby. Grab the outside edges of your feet and rock side to side. Rock around, and then after you're done rocking and rolling, pause. And again, guide your tailbone down as you find a stretch. Release your left leg down to the floor. Keep your right leg in happy baby. Take your right leg out to the yellow wall. Take your left hand on your left hip. Keep it down. Yeah, so you're going to straighten your left leg out. That's it. Yeah, that's good. Just kind of guide your left hip down. I don't want to pop up. Bring your right leg straight up to the ceiling. Switch hands. So your left hand now goes on your right leg. And take your right leg to the bathroom wall, your right arm out to the yellow wall. Twist. You create what's happening. You create what you want to have. Come back to the center, happy baby. Neutralize your spine. Release your right leg down. Keep your left leg in happy baby. Take your left leg out to the bathroom wall. Your right hand on your right hip. Twist your left leg over to the yellow wall. And then look and gaze over your left shoulder. Happy baby. Hug your knees to your chest. Cross your ankles. Roll front to back. And you could just move to down dog or move through a vinyasa, high to low plank, chaturanga. Move in whatever works for you, and then find downward facing dog. Take downward facing dog. Breathe. Lift your right leg up. Right side half pigeon. So take your right foot to your left wrist. Lift up tall. Stretch your chest out over your leg. Guide your left hip to your right heel. If you'd like a deeper stretch in half pigeon, you just guide your shin up toward the front of your mat. You would flex your right toes toward your knee. You're the author of your story. You're the illustrator of your story. You decide. You decide. You can actually have a New Year's resolution in every single moment. When you decide. Downward facing dog. You might pick your right leg up and allow there to be some blood that will flush through it. Place it down, left side half pigeon. So your left foot to your right wrist, lift tall, stretch. Be in casual observation without judgment of the difference that you experience from one side to the next. Down dog. Jump through, sit on your bottom. Stretch your legs out in front of you, lower down onto your back. Take your legs straight into the air. Bring your knees to your chest. Take your knees to the right, your arms out to a T. Gaze past your left hand. Press your left hand flat. Twist your whole spine. Come back to the center. Take your legs to the left, your gaze to the right. Twist. Hug your knees to your chest. Shavasana. There's a stone somewhere by your mat. Some are at the front, some are at the back. You could place that on your forehead, your chest. Enjoy. Go give James one. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hug your knees to your chest, roll to your right side. Sit tall in a comfortable seated position with your palms open, your chest and heart open. Reach your arms over your head, press your palms together, exhale your hands to your heart. Om. Inhale. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. It was great to have all of you here. You could just take your stones and put them in a little box above the hand and bath towels. We'll take care of cleaning those for you. You can spray off your mat or ours with the spray bottle and throw the sponge in the wash basket. If you have any questions about the Mexico retreat, 40 days, just let me know. I'll be out front. Thanks so much for coming.